Hello everyone, it's Mr. Spinelli, and today we're going to talk about factoring polynomials of the form ax squared minus bx plus c. So I hope you already watched my video on the GCF and prime factorization, as well as my video on factoring ax squared plus bx plus c, because I'm going to assume that you know everything from those videos. So starting off, I'm going to look for my GCF on this problem, and it's 1. So I go into the factor pairs of 3, which are 1 and 3, factor pairs of 6, which are 1 and 6, and 2 and 3. So based on these factor pairs of 1 and 3, I know I've got a 3x and an x. Now why did I put a minus sign? Because today all of the problems have a negative middle term. So my goal is to make a negative 11x. Now I could consider 1 and 6, 6 and 1, 2 and 3, or 3 and 2. There's 4 combinations to consider here. Which ones am I going to get rid of? Well, I'm going to get rid of the 6 and the 1 because 6 and 3 are, sorry, 3 goes into 6, so I would have been able to pull out a GCF of 3, which isn't true. 3 also has a factor in common with this 3, so I'm not going to throw the 3 and the 2 in that order. So it's either 1 and 6 or 2 and 3. Well, I am going to be multiplying the 3x times the 6 and the 3, and I'll be multiplying this x by the 1 and the 2. So 3 times 6 gives me 18, which is way too big, so I don't even consider that one. So I bet it's this one. Let's check. 3x times negative 3 gives me negative 9x. Negative 2x times x gives me negative 2x. And those numbers added together give me the negative 11x. So my answer is simply 3x minus 2 and x minus 3. And remember, order does not matter. You could also have x minus 3 and 3x minus 2 because multiplication is commutative. Next one, this should be one of your favorites because my a value is 1, which means my GCF is also 1. So I know this is going to factor into x minus something and x minus something. Factors of 6, 1 and 6, and 2 and 3. So all I need to consider is which one of these factor pairs adds up to 5. Well, that's 2 and 3. So I'm going to have a minus 2 and a minus 3. And again, remember everything's subtraction because my middle term is negative. So again, something I should specify is that 2 negatives multiply to make a positive, and 2 negatives add to make a negative. That is a key component for the form ax squared minus bx plus c. Alright, next one. GCF is 1 again, so I consider my factor pairs of 4, which are 1 and 4 and 2 and 2. Factor pairs of 6, 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. Well, I'm not even going to waste my time with 2 and 2 because 2 is an even number and so is this 2 and this 6. So none of those combinations would work. So don't even waste your time. So I know it's of the form 4x and x, and I know it's minus minus because I have to multiply to make a positive 6 and add together to make this negative 11x. Now with 1 and 6 and 2 and 3, for the same logic that I was able to get rid of 2 and 2, I'm not going to put the 6 or the 2 in the left set of parentheses with the 4x. So I'm going to go 1 6 or 3 2. Well, 4 times 6 is way too big, so I know it's 3 and 2. Alright, next one. 4x squared minus 14x plus 12. First thing I notice is these numbers are all even. So my GCF is 2, so I'm going to factor out a 2. And then I'm left with 2x squared minus 7x plus 6. So let's see what we can do with this. Well, 2 is just 1 and 2. 6 has two sets of factor pairs, 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. So this is going to be 2x minus something and x minus something because I'm trying to multiply to make a positive and add to make this negative 7x. I know that 6 and 2 are both even, so I'm going to have to put the 6 and the 2 over here with their other factors. Well, 2 times 6 is 12 plus 1 is 13. That one's too big. 2 times 2 is 4 plus 3 is 7, so this is my winner. And of course, multiply your answer to check it. Let's try another. These numbers, these coefficients, are all even again, and the smallest exponent is 2, so I can factor out a 2x squared. And what am I left with? I'm left with x squared minus 6x plus 8. So then this is what I'm trying to factor, this trinomial of the form ax squared minus bx plus c. Since a is 1, all I really care about are the factor pairs of 8 that add to make this 6. In this case it's negative 6, so I know it's going to be minus minus. So I've got 2x squared, x minus 4, x minus 2. Alright, another fun one. A is 1, so all I got to do is look at the factor pairs of 12. 1, 12, 2, 6, 3, and 4. Which ones add to make 8? In this case, it's going to be negative, so I know it's going to be x minus 2, x minus 6. There's my winner. Next one, very similar, but this time I'm looking at the factor pairs of 15. 1 and 15, 3 and 5. Well, 3 and 5 add to make 8. Since I'm trying to multiply to make a positive, add to make a negative, I know those 3 and 5 both have to be negative. So I get x minus 3 and x minus 5. So please stay tuned for the next video because it is going to be much more involved, much more fun, and we're going to have some fun with numbers. So have a great day. Thanks for watching.